Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
I found people will place you in an open grave. Pray over the dirt they lay on top of you, tell you you're wrong for not accepting these flowers they brought to watch you be lowered with. I've learned not every pallbearer is left sad. Some will carry you just for logistics. I'd rather be cremated than have fake people carry or shade my casket. In my heart. They built this hardness. I feel like a retired arsonist. I think of all the bridges I should have burned, all the relationships I should have left kindling, the fair weather friends that carried their personal umbrellas. They could stand the rain. They just couldn't stand me being lit. The family members that'll leave you under that tree in a storm. I'm just smart enough now to leave first. First thing I could have done was branch off. Besides, all your problems stem at the root. And I'm cut different now. So even if I don't meet a brass finish when my time comes around, please don't let me be carried by the same hands that chopped me down. I caught me lying to myself about how we be a pride. Now tell the world I'm gone. And there's nothing in this casket but a name. Tell them I gave it all. So there's nothing in this casket but a name. I gave my eyes to the future so they could see where we went wrong. And there's nothing left but this body of work so you can see where we went wrong. I told you don't miss me when the line get long. But as time grew on, these arms grew strong since the last time I held you or failed you or failed to, and it's those that will still tell you I carry all the same drama from when I was a pup. Or they'll try to keep me as him. I let them know I started off rough, but I don't even know, though. You're going to have to meet me again. We were ashes before we got here. And maybe that's what you've earned, but I refuse to carry an empty vessel. My mother told me they lied on Jesus. So another Judas plotting to put me down won't make me special, so leave me gone. Till there's no more land to fill these lovely bones, tell them I transcended. Now all my fuck yous is poems. Straight like that. My father was an artist, an experienced sculptor. He made me stone. I was clay, molded, misshapen by hands that were hardened and shamed for their affliction. My makers, loving but damaged, told me head down, tuck your chin, roll your shoulders. Some things you might not rock with, but you'll understand when you get older. They molded me, hardened me, made me unyielding, unbending, unable to be further pressed, but their hands, stricken, arthritic, always cupped to God for their prayers like porcelain. Polished reactions from what dissolved, they made art. Four hands pulling together, they made a bowl, bottomless, without a ceiling, they made a hole. I had a brother once, but we don't speak on that. Cracks broke my sister, but we won't speak on that. I watched my mother scream at a wall that didn't understand the foundation he broke after he chose to knock down the next door neighbor's home, but we won't speak on it, not in this house of stone. My father, nothing less than a hero, forged me in a volcano molten in all the ways of his father, a mountain of a man, but still just another rolling stone. And I watched like he watched, felt the tears calcify how concrete these patterns form. My grandmother, like my mother, like all the porcelain that loved me, all got a hard-headed man with flesh of sand that doesn't end up where he's supposed to be. And I tried so hard to be a monument, a statue, something they would always be proud to see, but tears won't fix shattered. So there's no more water fountain me in the hardest part about being stone. There's no one ever asks if you're okay. You're supposed to do damage, not be damaged. You're supposed to come off great. Everybody believes when you fly off, only others feel the pain, and it's hard to explain that it's not the same because you're stone. You weren't made for emotions. You break shit and build homes. At least that's what I was told. Alcohol and regrets led my father to a headstone. These same regrets keep me 12 steps from holy ground. But what is the point of building this path if we all know it only leads to destruction? CTE. There's no way they'll say I didn't have it. I was on a football field since I was football size, and it's only so far you could throw the damage. I was raised a warrior, cut from a different cloth, so happy to show you the bandage. At 8 years old, my coach managed to fill my helmet that was passed down with this aggressiveness and the understanding that there's no pain you can't stand in. You got to take the hits to land. And so I took the hits that landed. I became this hard thing, hit hard like granite, hit hard like violence. I've been blindsided, been planted. But the way I put a team's big star in a prayer circle, satanic, because he told me, whatever you become, be the best at it. And I wanted to be the best at it, bled to get my reps at it, because he told me, when we hit, we follow through. Son, I don't know what you did before you got here, but when we hit, we follow through. I don't believe he thought these hits would follow you. Even through the headaches and the Coke bottles he modeled through, even through the Toradol and the Tylenol, like myself, my coach could not just pop just two, but my coach died. Cut both Achilles and bled out. His wife blamed football, said his mind was hobbled too. It reminded me of Achilles, a warrior, hated by the gods for his earthly throne. My uncle would tell me that every time he visited. But he was never home. They called it shell shock, called it TBI, called it breaches syndrome, the bullet that fires back, the explosion at his home. We just called it off. Called him quiet when the TV was on. My grandmother called him. My grandmother cried when she answered the phone. But what would you call death? Because what came back wasn't living. And now, after having my own episodes being sat down to replay the snaps that I was missing, I know it's better for a warrior to die in the field. A bloody, gory death so you can see these injuries are real. Not this slow conquering. Regrets cutting in my heels, but we hit. No glory, no sword to grip, just fall on. But I'm a warrior, so I fight to be all here till I'm all gone. But what else am I to do? My coach didn't teach me to be weak. He taught me when we hit, we follow through.
Most people reminisce on the fond memories of cooking alongside their mothers, grandmothers, and aunties, all colliding together in the kitchen, happily chopping vegetables in chorus, showing little hands how the magic of meals gets made. We tell the story of how the kitchen is the heart of the home. We preserve recipes like sacred texts, keep the laughter of Sunday dinners tucked between the pages, recreate the scent of collard greens simmering, biscuits rising, sweet potato pie cooling in the window. But what if food was never safe in my house? What if the sacred space of the kitchen was never sacred at all? More battlefield than sanctuary. No sizzling onions to soften the air. No sugar dust on my fingertips. No warmth rising from the oven to wrap around me like love. Instead, silence. A mother at war with her own reflection, so body dystophic, so food phobic that joy never made it past the front door. Even now, grown me is critiqued by grown her. What I eat, how much I eat. Her fork hesitates, mine digs in. She thinks I eat too much. I know she never eats enough. It is a cruel mirror we hold between us, my hunger pressed against her starvation, her counting calories while I count the cost of never learning what it meant to savor without shame. So I keep quiet. Because I already know where those conversations will lead. I repeat my mantra: everyone's life is their own to live. I smile politely while others trade their family recipes and simply say, my mother wasn't a cooker. But the truth is, she cooked something. She cooked fear into every bite. She seasoned silence into the air. She baked shame into my appetite. And I am still unlearning the taste. Even now, menus feel like mirrors. I pause too long, wonder if indecision is just another inheritance trauma dressed up as a choice. So now I cook slowly, not for nostalgia, not to rewrite her, but I cook to listen to my body when it speaks without apology. I let hunger arrive without interrogation, plate myself grace even when no one is watching. I am learning to replace fear with flavor, silence with seasoning, shame with sustenance. I am still unlearning the taste, but this time my mouth is open on purpose.
Casket sharp is how us black folk describe the ornate dress of homecoming. We displayed the deceased in their Sunday's best. When a popular trans woman dies, her father says, no, I will not send my son to God like that. Dressed in pink at the pearly gates, he says he want to see his little boy one last time. Is it still a dead name if it Lazaruses itself on the tongues of those still living? I know the funeral is for the family, but Lord, hear my plea. When I die, please don't let my family turn my casket conversion therapy. Strip me of my identity to bury me in their expectations. They've been ready to throw dirt on my grave the same way they do my name. So when my family says they want to send me to glory and glitter, I say, I prefer y'all send me naked. Let God see the bruises left from the branches of your bigotry, where you let me pick my own switch, but not my own gender. My uncles call me selfish. They just want to see the little girl they remember one last time. I say, we threw that funeral long ago. You should have been there. It was beautiful. And every day since has been a gender reveal party, and you were not a guest of honor. My death is not invitation to invoke your will upon my body. I spent too much time in closets not to fashion myself stylish. Sometimes I think you'd wish I had learned to hang myself instead. My mother says, a girl should always have a little black dress. So I bought a three-piece suit, pinstripe, so you can read between the binary lines of my fuck you femme fatale. This be my will and testament. My mother, she used to joke that I was the son she never had. Imagine y'all put me in a dress to see my mama and she think me unfamiliar. Lost all my autonomy in the autopsy and replaced it with your audacity. And maybe that's what some black folk mean by casket sharp. One last chance to say, cut that shit out, stab you in the back. And I promise, no matter how small you try to chop up my choices, you will always choke. Cause child, I was never meant to be your legacy. I've been carving out my own.
Miss Mary Mac, 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 your ass is fat, fat, fat. When you bent over, 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 we saw your crack, crack, crack. We pushed you down, 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 down to the ground, ground, ground. When you fell over, 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 you shook the town. Do you know what it's like to be target practice? Punchline wrapped in skin too big to fit someone's jokes, just right for their laughter. Circling vultures with eyes sharp, mouth sharper, picking apart your very existence with every word spoken. See, laughter wasn't joy for me. It was a weapon, blunt object disguised as sound, swinging recklessly, breaking pieces of me they couldn't even see. Playground was never just a playground. It was public execution like their taunts nooses, tightening around what little confidence I had left. And my body, outlined in chalk and ridicule, was a crime scene. They didn't call it bullying back then, though. Just kids being kids. But their words didn't hit like playground pebbles. They stuck like bricks hurled at glass bones, leaving shards of me scattered across years spent trying to piece myself back together again. Your ass is fat, fat, fat. Words hitting harder than fists, heavy like cafeteria trays piled high with yesterday's regrets. Uneaten yet impossible to throw away, and they knew it. Voices carved me into someone unrecognizable, hollow version of myself cracking in all the places they found funny. I was their joke. Punchline too big to dodge, too small to matter. Chance still lingering in back of my mind. Ghost I can't seem to shake. And no matter how many times I've washed myself in self-love, stains of their words remain. I remember how pavement kissed skin day after day, not gently but with sharpness of their laughter, joy rooted in my humiliation. I walked home in silence many days, dragging their words behind, attached like chains, footsteps heavy in shame. And even now, I wonder if ground beneath me remembers like I do, if dirt remembers my blood and tears, if it still flinches the moment my feet touch down and my weight bears it. When Miss Mary Mac fell to the ground, they didn't tell you what it felt like to be gravity's unwilling accomplice, to hear the world laugh at your descent and wonder if you'd ever rise again. They didn't tell you the cracks they mocked were in the asphalt beneath me. Instead, they were in the soul within me, splitting open like fault lines no one knew how to repair. Miss Mary Mac ain't never coming back, because some wounds don't heal, they calcify. Some scars don't fade, they deepen. And when I close my eyes, I can still hear them. I don't know if it's memories or ghosts of who I used to be, whispering, I'm still not enough.
Oh, what a tangled web thee hath woven. Hyper-capitalist wealth is America's mask and facade. The suburbs and ads and money function as diversion tactic to forget genocide, to forget about the murders, the prisons, the tortures, the exploitation, all those green dollar bills, those luxury SUVs, those Teslas, those 4,000 a month condos, conceal hatred, xenophobia, misogyny, transphobia, and racist traditions. America is ugly, but money makes her look like a pretty supermodel. May I invite you to a dance? You've been dancing for 100 years. We've been shimmying in paper cash confetti while poor people are sunken in the gutter. The fungible trance of millionaires and billionaires laughing and celebrating rakes mud over the faces of tent cities and fentanyl addicts. It's a depressing thing to think about, but your comfort merely masks a torture chamber. Those awful banks, that murderous wallet, those disgusting ATMs. There's nothing to see here, folks. Just a bunch of American dreamers masking a nightmare. Groceries, food stamps, electric bills, rent money, smartphones. Material is a mask, and the face is poverty and proximity to carnival horrors. Charlie Kirk gets popped in front of cameras, and everybody worries a black person shot him. George Floyd gets assassinated by a police officer, and people don't care because he has a criminal record. The Epstein files, the fucking Epstein files. Every land has the Patna of curse. Every person has an evil spirit. Mummy cloth made from money obscures this wretched face like a veil. It's a cocoon of spider webs entangled in such beautiful lies. That Phantom of the Opera moment when the mask is pulled. Oh, the horror, the bloody, bloody, internecine horror.
I rarely title my poems. I just start writing with the intent that in my parrying, my words will resonate with the right audience. I be shop worn with life's dealings, so I shoulder roll, sanctioning body and mind under subjection to square up. More often than not, I don't have time to spar. My brain goes into shifting mode since split decision is not a given. Being of a peaceful mindset, I don't start these beefs. Yet my musings are prepped like a seasoned contender ready to be grilled up, George Foreman style. Thoughts be on the ropes attempting to deliver overhand weaponry to counter my palooka mindset. Going toe to toe with these words, shadow boxing negativity, praying I have a puncher chance to knock out the defeatist attitude I wrestle with. Ideas be impatient during my seconds out period. They be forgetting who my promoter is, for he sits high north, only venturing to the south paw to grab the keys to the kingdom, giving me discernment often. To peekaboo my message, so I tend to pick off punches in my delivery, rolling with punches that are thrown at me, so I'm in control as to how they land. thought-provoking punchline is the goal. Never any intention of throwing in the towel, although inferiority complex may try to uppercut my footwork. They haven't been in my shoes, so they can't tell me how to write these poems. My objective is to always obtain the title of heavyweight in delivering my message, because there's nothing lightweight about my journey.
I learned peace the hard way, not in quiet gardens, but the storms that rattles my bones, and nights when my prayers felt heavier than my own heartbeat. I stood at the edge of myself, shaking, hurting, and wondering how a soul so bruised could still whisper, Lord, hold me. But God met me there, in a place I wanted to hide, in the tears I tried to swallow, and the silence that scared me. I learned peace in the breaking place, but somehow I didn't break. He held the cracks together with grace, stitched the wounds with mercy, and breathed straight into the parts of me that thought they were finished. I learned peace because he taught me not to escape, but through endurance, but through running, but through resting in his arms. Now I walk with a calmer spirit, a steady heart, a soul that knows the same God who carried me is the one who kept me standing. I learned peace the hard way, but peace stayed and I stayed because God never left.
Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. See, I've never really liked scary movies, not because I scare easily, but because I never understood the appeal of raising my anxiety for something fictional. Why summon fear on purpose? Why call for something you know might not leave the same way it came still? We learn the rules early. Say his name 3 times into the bathroom mirror. Don't laugh, look away, break the ritual, or he won't come. Funny thing is, I spent most of my life standing in mirrors too, calling my daddy's name. Once, twice, 3 times, daddy, daddy, daddy. Nothing ever crawled out behind me, no hook for a hand, no shadows swelling in the doorway. He was already in the house, just never in the room when it mattered. He existed in hallways, at the edge of conversations, close enough to cast a shadow, never close enough to catch me. Which is strange because when my stepsister said his name, he showed up. When his grandchildren called, there he was, voice loud, present, solid, real enough to leave fingerprints on their childhood. Me, I learned how to lower my voice, how to stand still, how not to disturb the mirror with expectation later. He taught me the ritual, told me if I wanted to survive him, I had to learn how to summon myself, show up in the mirror for them, he said. Be strong, present, don't disappear. So I stood in front of glass and practiced becoming dependable, practice answering calls before they finished ringing, practice being whole, even when no one ever checked to see if I was bleeding. Funny how he never gave them those same instructions, only me. I was the one taught how to say a name 3 times and not expect anything back. And I tried, God, I tried. They tried saying daddy softly, tried saying it angry, tried whispering it like a prayer so it wouldn't scare him away. Daddy, daddy, daddy. But the mirror stayed loyal to the truth. It only ever showed me myself. A girl learning how to parent her own hope, a woman realizing some men are legends in other people's stories, but myths in her own. And maybe that's why scary movies don't scare me, because the real horror isn't what shows up when you call. It's what never arrives, no matter how perfectly you play the rules. So I stopped chanting, learned how to rinse my face, wipe the mirror clean, walk away before hope could say his name for me. Then still, sometimes late at night when the house is quiet enough to hear old grief breathing, I catch my reflection looking back at me like she's asking a question I already know the answer to. Not will he come, but why do you keep calling someone who taught you how to disappear? So I don't say his name anymore. I say mine once, for the girl who waited twice, for the woman who stayed 3 times, for the version of me who finally understands the mirror was never a doorway, it was a witness.
You know, Martin had a dream, but I've been seeing nightmares in the daytime, visions cast in black and white as if to pretend civil rights icons ain't still alive today. As if to pretend it wasn't just yesterday they found black boys hanging in Mississippi. Question: if a body hangs from a tree in 2025, is it still a lynching if no one comes to view it? Answer: no, it's a suicide. Despite all the broken limbs, even the body of proof got bruises. But don't worry, they will resurrect the same black boys in every racist tirade, the same way they do Martin or Malcolm or even Jesus, claim the numbers don't lie when they've been manipulated to fit a narrative, and the narrative says, actually, the boy wasn't hanging. He just grew roots. The tree is the victim, holding all that all that blood on its branches if it's lucky. They will chop it down, turn it into a cross and worship it. Burn it. Once again, proving one man's dream is another man's nightmare. We've been sleepwalking through the dichotomy since they stole the American dream and then weaponized woke as if the rebellion didn't come with an alarm clock, a wake-up call, a gavel crack. What is the difference between a funeral and a funeral procession and a march if there's a dead nigga at both ends? Remember, our minds were wide open long before the bullets came knocking. We had a revolution without a resurrection and still found God in the movement. We deemed ourselves deity, like we don't perform miracles every time our feet touch ground. Jesus may have turned water to wine, but Martin alchemied a dream into our destiny. So I'll be damned if I get caught sleeping in this American nightmare.
I've never been a hugger. And it's not because I don't feel deeply. I just learned early arms can promise what mouths won't maintain. So I mastered leaning in without being clingy, learned how to be present without pressing pause on myself, connecting without fingerprints leaving smudges on promises that weren't built to hold weight. Never close enough to be remembered by breath, but far enough to leave without explanation before attachment starts asking questions. My algorithm, it tried to match chemistry, swipe my spirit into neat little boxes, measured my laughter with pixels, my patience with seconds, and my worth by how fast I could reply. They matched compatibility with same taste in music, same tempo in trauma, and we, both being allergic to commitment, disguised it as just being busy. Funny how math kept subtracting the human parts, and ghosting became a social construct, giving exits a soft launch with no connection or closure, just art of disappearing without being accused of hurting anyone. I learned how to fade mid sentence and how to read the moment someone stopped choosing me without ever saying my name wrong, because staying too long warrants questions, and I'm sure neither of us wants answered. I like love better when it had a return policy, when vulnerability came with receipts, when hearts were held loosely like borrowed books you swore you bring back, but hell, you never did. I'm just tired of introductions, tired of first dates, tired of explaining why I don't flinch at distance but hesitate at touch. Truth is, I come to like my own company. I like my laughter when nobody's watching. I like the way my peace doesn't need permission to move, and the way my bed feels honest without expectations tucked in the creases. I come to like my own rhythm, my own quiet strength, my own arms holding me together when love keeps showing up half charged and temporary, because my presence is a gift to anyone willing to accept it. So I want you to know, if you're looking for an instant download, a quick connection, a heart with easy access, this is not going to be the page for you. I'm not cold. I'm just curated, seasoned with time and experience, and I've come to like my own bubble enough to wait for someone who knows how to stay logged in long enough without searching for an exit.
This is a piece from my book, I Didn't Come Here to Tap Dance. It's called The State of Emergency That Nobody Told You About, or The Lowdown on the Down Low, Conspiracy Theories 101. Epigraph. Hold your fire, don't shoot the messenger, though I know that this message be stressing you. I'm a mirror, I just reflect what I see. So please don't shoot me. I'm not the enemy. Listen carefully and pay attention. This poem will not be on Facebook, will not be on YouTube or Twitter, will not be published in an anthology, and will not be on the 5 o'clock news. This poem will self-destruct upon completion. Just like free jazz improvisation, it will never be experienced again. This poem is to tell you that all the news is fake, owned by the same motherfuckers that don't want you to know that they are motherfuckers. Democrats and Republicans are just opposite sides of the same coin. They hang out and have drinks, snort coke, and fuck the same underage boys and girls from the secret pedophile ring in the White House at the end of the workday. Truth be told, they don't run anything anyway. It's just a facade. There is no government. It all belongs to the Federal Reserve, run by the Bilderbergs, the Masons, the Skull and Bones, the Illuminati, the Jesuits, and secret societies. Your birth certificate and social security number are banknotes payable in blood when you die, but nobody told you. It's all in the books. Behold a Pale Horse, The Occult Conspiracy, and The Truth Shall Set You Free by David Icke. You can still find them overpriced on Amazon. Copies are limited or may be out of print. Steve Coakley exposed it years ago on YouTube. The Holy Bible is fiction designed to control you. Actually, it's an astrology book. You think I'm talking heresy? If Jesus really saves, he would have done it already, but he couldn't save himself. I turned off the president's speech. It's all an illusion anyway. Social media is a government experimental mind control mechanism on your computer and your mobile device. Everything you do is being watched and recorded by your TV. Immigration detention camps are rehearsals for martial law. Global warming is controlled by a harp. No, harp is not a musical instrument. It's not the mayor of Elm City either. I don't have time to explain it, but it's not too late to Google it. The housing projects are part of the Rockefeller plan. It was a Yale experiment. So is gentrification. The food at McDeathburger's Kentucky Died in Ice Lock is fake too, designed to prepare you for Soylent Green. The New World Disorder is sitting on your doorstep. When the doorbell rings, don't answer it. If you act now, it's not too late to stop it. Trump will skin thin as a fake president. Mumia told me resistance works, but justice still rides in the back of the bus. So where's John Brown when you need him? Remember, struggle will set you free. Don't forget, you never heard any of this from me. This poem is a last warning. It will now self-destruct. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, poof.
Holy Lama Dander falls like rain upon an Israelite angel's forehead. Burns off her halo, wildfires conjured by sorcerers talking God off the skyscraper ledge. Tetragrammaton commits suicide, crowds of Americans roam without ego awareness. Triangular 3D planet tossing off inhabitants with the bull's pussy lips flaring. I spark and spearhead a movement, swollen like soul of Anticon, dropping an atom bomb on Genesis, carping the prose of Babylon. Piranha teeth Jesus, teething on the silo, followed by dumb Caucasians synonymous with apocalypse, scouted demons for foot fetish persuasion, assuages the soul just to know a crew of human beings efficient at being good people, under a wooden steeple, sermons of a Sasquatch working evil versus evil. Lean through a pole, straight through, regain step like Mr. Hulo, slapstick bumbler, comedy of the Deathstroke by Viper Venom, 12 crew members called Duo. Stuck in the friend zone like Lisa Kudrow, I dismantle the dating game with solid offense. Cater to the goddess. Every knave dares to silly. Cater to the goddess, stacking bangers for the diehards obsessed. Convex to concave. Every knave dares to sully the born game of the eagle. But I got vulture styles that hover over Pompeii, waiting for the volcano to snatch the people. And every fiery burp from heavens will spit ash at the global mirror, fetch for the ash shot from Peach Pick Heaven, dancing in the splash of local lyras, vocals clearer than Windex, clean the glass like Cooper Flag, snatching boards to board the goat plane with the snakes of Afrofutures past, Kahlua jazz, hookups with the hookah, where California hash spooks the greatest chefs, strangest flesh sold by Leviticus, colliginous crawfish splunk, purple hazer flex, creation test Hercules, hoisting boulders above head to crash land like Sisyphus, clash of the titans with skeleton warriors on Diet Coke to rehash a fest infinite. Dirigibles deflated, ping pong through the sky like pop balloons, land in the pubic hair of Athena, where DEI hires excel by a fleet of octamaroons. Eight-sided mirrors, panopticon voyeurism entertained by nosy jeeper creepers, scarecrow coalitions smell their fingers after touching the sacred beaver, stellar creature effects apply polish to latex figures, live in a plastic reality. It's Guardians of the Galaxy Part 9 with Peter Star-Lord naked shagging the queen of bestiality, wiki leaking calories, shed pounds like a dying British Empire's economy, living fat like Jack the Ripper, hooked up to Stonehenge via random lobotomy. And my autonomy reaches the masses like idiocracy, a nation coked up of Beavis and Butthead stoking the flames of hetero hypocrisy. Ghettos alarmingly grow GNP like E equals MC squared, problem solved, nipped in the bud. World's smartest woman ace the flow of G's, double D's bubble with dicks in the mud. Existing in the drugs, my whole being poured in the flows like Daniel Plainview on the oil. Call it royal when I flush these fascist turds into the sewers with Trumpist loyals.
Lately, life has done nothing but teach me how real death is. Always delivered at my doorstep when I never asked to address it. My anxiety has been knocking on heaven's doors. The last few months, I tried to convince her how we can find refuge in my closet. We both know there's no room, just skeletons waiting on forgiveness. My mother told me I can't stay inside forever. And since my depression is functional, I should be able to find the motivation to move, get out of my own way, go outside and be the light that scares the darkness away. Mama, don't know when I crack the blinds, the sun feels like it's morning, something too from my window. All I see is the world burning, the walking dead, bodies all bruised with egos, even makes it hard to recognize your own kin, but we're here now. And my God save us. All I have strength to do these days is to throw my hands to swing or pray. My ribs cage screams that I try to contain, unlike the war in Gaza. Wiping generations out with genocides, got those poor babies looking for bread, finding bullets instead, airstrikes coming in faster than answered prayers. That pain is something the government isn't concerned about containing. You want me to feel liberation outside of these four walls, like they aren't raping us of our innocence, like the women in the Congo. Prison bars couldn't even keep them safe. January 2025, city of Ngoma. Screams loud enough to be heard all over the world, but not scare the devil away. 167 women violated by rebels, the same skin tone as them, raped, burned alive. They died believing this was their fate. All I see is bodies stacked up like Jenga pieces, waiting for the fall of these nations. And my God, save them. If everything will be ash by the end of this poem, tell me what I'm living for: to be a martyr or a massacre, to be televised but not remembered. I'm someone's daughter if you haven't heard, and my mother once told me a story about an angel that fell here, lowered the ground beneath us, declared war on anything that dared look like paradise in our eyes. Since then, the pages have been burning, and the world keeps writing eulogies instead of history. My God, we just need someone to save us.
Oh, Crab Rangoon, you fill me up with fulfillments with your whenever you're filling face plants onto my field of taste buds. Every time I have you inside my oral cavern, I cannot help but want to crush you with my stalagmite and stalactite teeth and swallow you into my abyss while I enjoy feeling you disintegrate slowly under my pressure as you slide all the way down to the pit of my being. Oh, yeah, Crab Rangoon, you perfectly highly addictive yet perfectly legal drug. And yes, I said drug. Have you ever eaten one and not feel serotonin and dopamine flood through every mini vessel in your being with the utmost sense of culinary nirvana? Oh, Crab Rangoon, you are the Asian equivalent of Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. In life, there should be only two universal defining periods: life before and after. accepting Crab Rangoon as your Lord, Savior, and demigod. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you miracle of life! If you were made in your original, pure form, the pharmaceutical industry would cease to exist because you cure all. I'll never forget that one time I had that strange stomach ache, and you, with your crunchy exterior and your cheesy, crabby, creamy holiness. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you are the body of Christ. You have influenced me to start an underground street fighting club called Crab Rangoon Club. And the first rule of Crab Rangoon Club is that we definitely talk about Crab Rangoon Club. Oh, Crab Rangoon, the joy and despair of all, how they rewrote the history books. You, Crab Rangoon, every 80s power ballad and 70s adult film was inspired by you in some way. By your rich, sexual white chocolates. Oh, Crab Rangoon, I am a goon for you, always have, and always will.
Our home was abstract. What is shelter? What is this dwelling when you're not there? This bed, this cold. These mirrors show a vision of a man, and it's still unclear how this house could stand with a hole in its frame. What we once stood on now warped by the tolls of the rain. The walls are covered, windows boarded, never showing its pain, and special locks were made from slabs of slates when storms it came. Doors would not just swing open and show its shame, and friends are met at the door to make sure they're unsure of how we're living. This was a show house. We used to show out. Now no one roams to the kitchen. There's collections of fallen paintings of dying spirits holding razor blades, crying in robes. His name was eviction, failing, too weak for clothes. The garage still holds the smell and gas layers from the last prayers that they threw up. Shells are bare, the nails are there, but this picture of this shell where we can see it's no longer the plans that we drew up in the sink. 2 shot glasses and a couple of burnt matches, even though the gas line was cut to the stove, and there's skeletons everywhere. I mean, everywhere, even sitting in chairs, too many for the closet to hold. The curtains were closed a long time ago to hold in all light. In a cold night at a round table, he wrote to death a poem, confessing how he was tired of just holding this knife. The clock stopped. 2 arms out in the dark because time was quickly leaving his sight. The pipes shook like a wounded soul. The fireplace no longer has a flame to behold. The chimney went through the roof to the basement to show what the rains had done. But now this house wouldn't die, not with a view of the sky, would wait for the wonders to come. So when they ask about this home, though the hallways are cold and the birds scratch cobwebs for fun, so I tell them everything beyond the doormat has been placed where it's at, and we'll always thank God for the sun.